What are you dealing with this morning?
Well, we're continuing to deal with an epic condition that we really haven't seen, surely in my career, with a wind event that has sustained winds in the ranges of 50 to 60, even we've seen 70 and 80 miles an hour. And generally these wind events last for a day or 2 or 3 days, but this event has been going on for almost a week now.
You know, the LA Fire Index, LA Fire Burn Index is the highest it's ever been projected. An extreme reading is 162. You know what it is today? 296.
In Ventura, just north of Los Angeles, there a state of emergency has been declared. But actually here in the city, the affluent, infamous neighborhood of Bel Air is currently being threatened. Those multi-million-dollar mansions that celebrities are living in.
Entire neighborhoods in the city of Ventura have now been wiped off the map.
Several homes in this community were incinerated, while others just down the street were untouched,
spreading across hundreds of miles of dry terrain.
Wow, look at this.
A fiery hellscape. One of the nation's busiest highways transformed under that orange haze.
You're in absolute awe of the veracity of this type of an incident. Really, words, I think the pictures do it more justice, because I don't know if I can eloquently put into words the magnitude of what we're seeing.
And as if the fires really weren't enough to contend with, an earthquake struck near Malibu. The U.S. Geological Survey has reported that a 3.3 magnitude quake hit about 12:44 this morning.
An earthquake rattled Julian early this morning.
We have security video inside Mountain Spirits Liquor. The owner says he felt it.
The magnitude 4 quake hit at 4:30 was followed shortly by a 3.0 quake. This quake follows a series of other earthquakes that have hit that same area over the past few days. Numerous people in the Los Angeles area, including celebrities, evacuating their homes amid the wildfires there. We have a liberal anti-Trump comic, Chelsea Handler, blaming it on the president. Chelsea Handler tweeting out, quote, "Just evacuated my house." It's like Donald Trump is setting the world on fire, literally and figuratively. Handler tweeted yesterday, "Stay safe, everyone. Dark times."
As California wildfires blaze into a fourth day, at least one person's been killed so far. The fires are raging from Los Angeles to San Diego, and they're being fanned by powerful winds.
Visible from the space station, the air quality so toxic, more than 400 schools are closed. Stretches of Highway 101 were shut down.
I've been here 30 years, and I've never saw anything like this.
With 20,000 homes still in the path of fire, tonight the battle has just begun.
A San Diego man found himself face to face with the flames, and he barely made it out alive. 10 News reporter Bree Steffen talked to him about the close call with the lilac fire that destroyed his car and his livelihood.
Anthony is used to being close to danger.
I've always shot news.
He's a photographer in San Diego County.
I work for On Scene TV.
But Thursday was the first time he was ever scared for his life. He was here near West Lilac Road when the wildfire started. His car got stuck when he tried to leave, forcing him to make a life-saving split-second decision.
All of a sudden, I couldn't see anything. It was like I couldn't see the front of my hood. It was just gray and orange.
His car seconds later, along with all his equipment, thousands of dollars worth.
Have one radio and my press pass.
But like many other people who are trying to figure out how to replace the things that the fire took from them, Anthony says he won't give up his passion.
Oh yeah, I'm still gonna do this. I've worked too hard at it. It's what I do.
Anthony says the only thing salvageable from his car was a Bible. Even his fire gear was destroyed.
If you think you saw some strange balls of fire in the sky last night and you were like, wait a second, did I really see that? No, your eyes were not playing tricks on you. NASA confirming at least 65 fireballs were seen across Florida skies just after sunset.
That's right. After catching the supermoon a couple of days ago, Southwest Floridians getting another astronomical spectacle last night.
6:33 Tuesday night, you had to be...
A flying ball of fire lighting up the Florida sky. Shayna Crowley saw it.
I noticed a big bright light.
Only for a moment.
Flashed really big and it disappeared.
On December 2nd, Sergeant Michael Verga with the Hamilton Township Police Department was working the overnight shift.
I was just patrolling the neighborhood
when he decided to turn down Drosera Avenue,
trying to keep the neighborhood safe.
Minutes after 3 in the morning, pitch black, this road has no lights, when suddenly a flash in the sky and the sergeant's dash cam captured everything.
When you're on patrol or on the shift, you tend to see some strange things from time to time.
But this streak was something different.
I was trying to process exactly what I was looking at. I didn't hear any noise, which I would probably associate with it actually striking the ground here.
It likely was thousands of miles away and fully disintegrated before it hit Earth. But it did leave behind more than a memory for Sergeant Verga and his department.
I've never seen anything like that before in my entire life.
But first, a very different side of nature, an early December snowstorm in an unlikely place.
Crazy stuff going on. Matt Bonner tweeting this video from San Antonio, south of us tonight. The snow sticking to cars, sticking to the ground, sticking to everything.
Texas, you heard that right, woke up to a rare winter wonderland. Can you believe this? This was the scene last night in College Station, Texas. There was also some snow in Houston and San Antonio.
It is here from fire to ice this morning. Snow fell in Houston for the first time in 7 years. Up to 3 inches fell in the city, which could be a record.
Just last week, New Delhi was literally shut down as a result of smog generated from fires in the rural countryside. Hundreds of schools were closed. There was road chaos on the streets. And it's not just Delhi. Cities across China, parts of South Asia, are having experiences that are reminiscent of those of the industrial age 100 years ago in Western Europe.
Shankar, we all know that 2016 was the hottest year on record, 13% drop in the Arctic ice in the past decade. You have discussed the shortage in water supplies. How imminent is this crisis? When we will see the catastrophe? Is it in our lifetime? Is it in our kids' lifetime?
I think we live in it today already. I wouldn't say that it's coming somehow in the future. We literally live in it. We feel it. If you look at the freshwater shortages, if you look at the water security risk around the world, no single country or region could escape from it. So it's already happening. It's not a challenge for tomorrow. It's already a challenge of today.
Palestinians today protested President Trump's announcement that the United States now recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
I have determined that it is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Turkey said it crossed a red line that could plunge the Middle East into violence, with France, China, the Pope, and NATO all expressing concern. Why? Because President Trump just threw out the old rule book that had been maintaining a semblance of order in the Middle East.
The Turkish government has also warned of dangerous repercussions to Trump's decision. They say it could plunge the Middle East and the world into what it called an endless crisis.
Therefore, it is imperative now to work fast to reach a final status solution and a peace agreement between Palestinians and Israelis.
Of all the issues at the heart of the enduring conflict between Israel and Palestinians, none is as sensitive as the status of Jerusalem. The holy city has been at the center of peacemaking efforts for decades.
Israel's claim to Jerusalem is based on a belief dating back more than 2,000 years that God granted it to Jews.
This is nothing more or less than a recognition of reality.
As you can imagine, this is getting, in the Arab world, a lot of pushback, but not just there. You see these 18 countries warning the U.S. against moving the embassy.
And that's what we see, well, in this region, in the Middle East. That's what we see in Asia. And so the tipping point that moves the world from the risk of conflict to conflict, that's always, it's the butterfly issue. There's one little thing that happens and that tips the world over. You can never tell. What I find particularly dangerous in this world is what I would call the 1914 scenario. Today, nobody wants war, but you don't have complete proxies. So you have conflicts that start bottom up, but where the big powers are sufficiently connected to the bottom that they can be drawn into the conflict. So this combination of connectivity of the world and at the same time lack of control, enough connectivity but not that much control, that's the real danger today. And on top of that, and that will be my last and third point, we don't have a shared narrative. We don't have a sense that this world, this multipolar world, multipolar in its sources of violence, multipolar in the sources of movement of people, we don't have a sense that it's unified by a common vision. On the contrary.
Let us all go back to the main issue here, and the main issue is the climate change. Probably the things that were happening in the past few years require a state of global cooperation, and we saw that in the Paris Accord. All countries signed the accord except for the United States. My question is, how effective, in your opinion, is the Paris Accord, especially that some believe that even if all countries abided by what's required, it will negligibly affect the environment?
It's not an easy question to answer because on one side, the Paris Agreement has become something we have to have because this is a global challenge. We need a global platform, consensus building sort of platform, so that all the countries will be coming together and work together. So from that perspective, we succeeded, through the Paris Agreement process. Now we have an agreement together.